We go to number 7.2. Consider approving an agreement with Water Company of America, WCA, to conduct an audit to examine the city's utility system for accuracy in metering, billing, and collections, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement with Water Company of America, WCA. Mr. Kaufman.
Thank you. Before I turn it over to Ava, I would like to just say that our staff works really hard to scrub and look at our utility accounts and make sure that the billing is accurate and proper. And we've determined that it's not a bad idea to bring in a third set of eyes to look at it and see if there is something that we're missing. And so with that, Ava has found a way to possibly do that. So I'll turn it over to you to walk us through the Water Company of America project.
Thank you, City Council. This is another example that it is possible that Water Company of America will not discover any discrepancies, but it is possible they will, and it could be over $100,000. So that's the reason we felt like we needed to bring it to your attention and share with you this opportunity to engage with Water Company of America, who is headquartered in Houston and has been in operation since 1989, has served many Texas cities. I believe they have over 140 clients, and they have a revenue recovery service that examines the utility billing and accuracy of our metering system and help us recover any unbilled revenue that possible may occur. And at this point, I would like to introduce Shane Sangelli. He is the consultant for Water Company of America, so he can kind of explain in more depth exactly what they do.
Thank you, Ava. Mayor, City Manager, Council, thank you for your time, allowing me to speak. Ava did a great job, just kind of as an introduction of who we are and what we do. Yes, Water Company of America, been in existence since 1989. Very first contract that we did was the City of Houston. Since that time, we have done 140 plus contracts with about 14 of those in the last 2 years here in the state of Texas, with utilities from as small as Commerce, Texas, which has 3,600 utility accounts, to as large as Beaumont, Texas, which has 43,000 accounts. Our program comes in and we do a quasi-audit of the utility billing system. We're specifically looking for errors in the system that could cause a bill to go out incorrectly, resulting in a loss of revenue for that service, whether it's water, wastewater, and in some cases in other cities, drainage and garbage, if they collect that themselves. What we find is there's no cookie cutter method that we can use when we go into a city and say, you guys have this particular system in place, these particular water meters in place, we know that you're missing revenue here. It's different pretty much everywhere that we go. Sometimes it's outside city limits customers that are paying inside city limit rates in the case of Beaumont. Sometimes it's wastewater that is not being collected. They're being billed for water, they're not being billed for wastewater. In the case of Hot Springs, Arkansas, to the tune of $40,000 a month. Sometimes it's a simple error in a rate code, a meter size that might be incorrect. A number of different things that are out there. Most of the time, it's caused by human error, right? The last time I looked around this room, every one of us is human. I don't think any of us are AI just yet. I know that I fat finger something on my phone every single day. And the clerks who are setting up accounts and the people that are entering data in the field as far as meter sizes and meter readings are always prone to make a mistake, and that gets passed through. As the city manager said, Ava and her staff have done a fantastic job of identifying what they can in-house with their own staff Ava was just sharing with me a recent find just within the last couple of weeks of I believe, a hotel that turned into a pretty good find that had been gone missing for 2 to 3 years, and they were not being billed for consumption. So they're looking for these things. We come in as an extension to her staff. Exactly what we are. We're looking for the things that don't normally pop up in their monthly reports, their exception reports, their zero consumption reports, things that their staff aren't focusing on because they have other things to look at. And so we're as you said, that second or third set of eyes on the data. Typically what we find is 90% of the problems are in the data. You guys have recently done a water meter change out, AMI upgrade. You're constantly doing meter change outs as you see meters fail. You're taking care of the equipment side of it, and what we're going to focus in on is the data side of it. A lot of times what we find, though, is what's not in the data. We find unlisted services everywhere we go. We find a meter that was requested to be set by an individual or a company, and the meter crew went out and set the meter, and for some reason the paperwork did not make it back to the office, and the account never got set up. We put boots on the ground to go and look for those types of things, kind of scour the entire city, what we call a saturation of properties to see. Just because this particular customer is using 1 million gallons a month, is it accurate? We're going to use tools at our disposal, such as AWWA standards that tell us how much a school with a certain number of students, a certain enrollment, should be consuming in water and producing in wastewater. And we're going to compare that to what you're actually billing them. And we're going to see. If it doesn't, then we're going to put boots on the ground and go out and try to confirm why does that not match up. So we do all of this as a professional services contract. As a performance services contract. Right? So we do not collect a dollar from you until you have collected a dollar in increased revenue from a new account. Okay? 98 to 99% of your accounts are correct. So it's not like we're going to come in here and we're going to say, oh, there's, of your 8,000 accounts, roughly 8 to 10,000 accounts, 2,000 of them or 3,000 are billing wrong. And so you're going to have 2,000 or 3,000 residents coming in because their water bill went up because something was wrong. That's not the case. 98 to 99% of them are right. So out of those 8,000, we might find 80 to 100 customers that aren't being billed properly. Right? We don't know what that revenue could be because we don't know what type of customer we're going to find. It could be a hotel, it could be a hospital, a clinic, or it could be just a simple residence where it's only a couple of dollars a month. So because of that, I can't tell you if my contract is going to cost you $10, $10,000, or $100,000. We don't know until we come in. Once we've discovered it, we present it to Ava and her team, give them the opportunity to review it and approve it and agree with it. And once they agree with it, they will make the change in the system that will then send out the correct bill with the increased revenue, or it may even be a new account, a new bill with what would be increased revenue. Once that bill is paid and you have received that money, then Water Company of America sends an invoice for our share of that increased revenue. So if we don't find anything, we don't get paid. You don't collect any money and we don't get paid. That's the way our service works. So I'm going to stop there. I could go on and on and on. This is what I do for a living, so I don't want, I know we're already late in the meeting, give you guys an opportunity to start asking questions. Anything that you want to know from me about the company, about our process, about how we would work specifically with your team, I'll be glad to answer any of those questions.
Council, very thorough, thank you. Council, Mr. Corrigan.
Have there ever been any cities that you've done a contract with that haven't had an issue, whether how
I can count on one hand the number of cities where we came in and they were so clean that we found little to nothing, and we spent a matter of weeks there, and then we folded our tent and gave them a letter of, you guys are in great shape, and we moved on to the next client. Okay. But again, I can count on one hand how many times that has happened. It's just each year millions and millions of dollars are lost in this department, and it's just because things slip through the cracks, and we have the expertise to find them. So it can happen, and I'm not saying that you guys won't be one of those, and part of me hopes that you are, but the business side of me would like to make some money as well, right? So,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Other questions? Go ahead.
Just one quick question, and this is probably more of a question for Ava, but if for some reason they come out to my house and they find out that I've been underpaying my bill by $100 a month for the last 2 years, do I then owe you $2,400, or are you just going to start billing me an extra $100 from now forward?
In your case specifically?
Yeah, sure. So we can both answer this question. That is strictly the city's policy, okay? It is the city's decision to decide whether or not they want to back bill a customer. Now, if the city goes, it's our fault, we've made this mistake for a number of years, most of the time they're going to say, we're going to make the correction and we're going to collect going forward. But if it's a case of a meter that was set and requested and the customer knew it and it hasn't been being billed, then you may go back and bill from the date that you knew the meter was set. Or if it's a case of, hey, you knew that your bill was low and you weren't reporting it and they could prove it in some case, then they may come back to you and say, we want to collect on the back bill. But that's strictly on what the city decides is best for the customer and the city. It's not something that we set. We may make a recommendation. In the case of an 8-inch meter that we found in Vicksburg, Mississippi, where we had a specific date that we knew it was set, they requested it to be set, and the bill never got, for almost 8 months, they never got a bill. We knew that the reading on that meter was 0 when it was set and what the reading on it was, and so we made a recommendation to the city to back bill them for that amount for that time, to the tune of $750,000. Now, it was a biofuels company, and they were like, okay, we know, because we needed the water and we had to use it. So you're going to work with your customers to make that decision.
I can just tell you that in the past, when we discovered errors, we've backed it up for 12 months, and if we needed to, we even made a payment plan for them to get right. Mistakes happen. So it depends on how egregious it is, too. I mean, $2 a month, okay. Is it really worth backtracking and adding $24 or whatever for a year? It just depends on the gravity of it and the situation. If the owner of that or the user of that water knew that it was obvious that they were getting a sweet deal and just didn't say anything about it, we definitely go back at least 12 months. That's been my policy anyway.
Others? I hear a motion to approve an agreement with Water Company of America, WCA, to conduct an audit to examine the city's utility system for accuracy in metering, billing, and collections, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement with Water Company of America.
So moved.
Mr. Wadley makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Allen makes a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. That will pass 6-0.
Thank you for your time.
Gentlemen. Good. Thank you, sir, for staying with us. Appreciate it.